Good morning, everyone. And, well, it's been a while since I made a YouTube video because I haven't had a lot I wanted to talk about recently because I've been just kind of wondering what I want to say on certain things. And this topic keeps coming up. And I gotta ask, why does Hollywood have to make everything live action? Some of this stuff does not need to be a series, some of it does not need to be a live action, and some of it flat out works better as animated, as was proven by some series, which we will talk about here in a moment. But in particular, Elder Scrolls Online and Cyberpunk are the two I saw recently, but if these two are getting tossed around for potential series, and potential live action, I gotta wonder what else behind the scenes is being talked about and possibly in the works that we haven't heard about just yet. And here's my reasoning on why I think these are bad ideas. So, first, Cyberpunk. We know Cyberpunk can make a good series when it is treated properly, and Edge Runners, well, let's be completely honest, it did what was thought impossible. It brought back a IP that had been severely damaged by Cyberpunk 2077's launch, which was a certifiable disaster by any measurable standard, and revived interest and really set the stage for a resurgence, which would lead to the Phantom Liberty or DLC, which is a fantastically done piece of content. Honestly, that should have been the gold standard for the whole game from the get go. But as they say, I will take what I can get. But that leads me to my point. It worked well as an animated series because there are certain things you can do with animation, like in a video game, that you just cannot do or in a live action setting without a lot of special effects. Now, granted, Cyberpunk and ESO kind of lend themselves to this a little bit better because, well, as you can see from this gameplay, or from both ESO and Cyberpunk, it just is more functionally based on more humanoid or type models. But when you start talking about spells, or hacking, that kind of thing, which are elements in or most fantasy games and games like Cyberpunk, those don't really translate that easily into a live action setting. I hate to tell them this, but um, I'll be completely honest here. I don't want this. I don't want more live action. I don't want more TV series and movies. I The main reason though isn't that they can't exist, but we have a very long history here of content or creators. And by content, I mean show creators that just do not respect the IP. I mean, look at titles like The Witcher. Just a quick Google search here for viewership ratings. And from season one to season three, they have lost almost half of their viewership. And why would that happen? Oh, when your quality of writing goes downhill, you're not respecting your source material, you're disrespecting your audience, you're getting rid of your main star attractions. In simple terms, they completely mismanaged the IP that should be a million seller. And instead, yeah, they lose half of their audience in less than 2 seasons. That is not a good sign, especially when The Witcher 3 was a fantastically done game. The Witcher game series is fantastically done. The novels, from what I understand, are exceptionally well done and great source material. So, what went wrong with the series? Oh, yeah, not respecting your source material and disrespecting your audience. Not exactly a glowing review or a good standard for what would eventually become more series based on these video game IP. So I leave with the original question. Why do we need more TV series and movies Why do we need more live action? Why are these things needed? When these showrunners, especially coming off of the strike, have a long history of completely disrespecting the IP and the fan bases. I, for one, don't want this. Because I don't have faith in these writers and these showrunners to actually respect the IP. One Piece is an exception to the rule, but again, I consider that the exception. Like, this is the exception to the rule because they actually respected the IP. They have basically said straight up that Oda, the original author, was the gold standard and their bearing rod on how they were going to do the series. And as you can see, this has done exceptionally well. In comparison to The Witcher, on this very same website, which is questionable, but or the sentiment pretty well shows here. Average critical review by the critics is fairly high, but the audience said no and gave it a barely over 50. So contrast that with the One Piece, and I think you see my point on why live action anything concerns me coming out of a video game or manga IP. So please let me know what you think in the comments below, and well, I'm going to pray that we don't get more live action. And I will see you all in the comments. Bye bye.